Today we're just going to quickly review the biosphere ecology. So let's take a quick look at the breakdown. You have individuals that are the species, and a group of species are a population, a group of the same species, and that group of species live in a community. So the community is groups of populations, different populations living together and interacting with each other. And then from there we have the ecosystem. The ecosystem is just communities and how they interact with abiotic or non-living features such as soil and water and rock. Biomes are basically just groups of ecosystems, and they are grouped by similar climates, um, similar plants, similar animals, that sort of thing. And the biosphere is just all of it. This is just another perspective of the same hierarchy. It's just a different perspective. Some people see it better up and down than sideways. Let's take a look at populations. Let's start with populations. Get a bit more specific. Populations are, as we said, a group of one species that live in a specific area. Specific area is very important to this. You have to define that specific area. So that specific area would be the habitat. Okay, habitat. Take a moment, pause your video, and think about the difference between habitat and niche. Okay, so most of you have seen habitat and niche, so let's just make sure that we have that understanding. The niche is the role the population serves in that environment. In other words, habitat is like its address, and the niche is its job. This job includes where it lives, so its habitat, but it also includes what eats it, and uh, what it eats. Does it produce its own food? These are all the different parts of the niche. Niches is a little bit more complicated. Habitat is simply just where it lives. So if we move on to communities, communities are basically just different populations of organisms that live and interact in a specific area. Interact is our key word here. The interactions include, some of the interactions that we include are competition, where both organisms are harmed, not to the point of death, but they are harmed, sometimes they are, harmed in the fact that maybe they're not getting as much food. When we go into food webs, this is a big aspect of it. Then we have prey predator or parasite host, which is one is harmed and one benefits, such as lions and gazelles. The lion benefits, the gazelle is dead, so it does not benefit. Parasite host, tapeworm in a dog. The tapeworm benefits from the food that the dog eats. The dog doesn't get the nutrition it needs, and so it is harmed. Then you have mutualism or sometimes symbiosis. This is symbiosis. Both benefit. A great example of this would be a flower and a bee. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at biotic and abiotic. Make sure that we have this down. I'm probably sure that you do. Biotic means life. A means not. So biotic is living. Abiotic is non-living. Let's put it in terms of ecosystem. The biotic factors are biological influence with the biological influences within an ecosystem. So how you're influenced by the biological or biotic factors around you. And abiotic is the physical or non-living factors that shape an ecosystem, such as lack of water, too much water, that sort of thing. So let's go into ecosystems, because ecosystems are really the relationship of the biotic, the communities, these would be the biotic, and the abiotic factors. such as water, air, land, those type of things, and how they interact with each other. The important part is the interaction that they have with each other. So many of it mainly deals with the flow of energy through a system, and such as food chains, where the rabbit gets its energy from the plant, the rabbit gives its energy to the fox, those type of energy systems, and the cycling of chemicals through a system. And this has a lot to do with the decomposers, the bacteria and whatnot that break dead things down. Very important. So what I want you to do is to look at these two models. These are two different models that of the same thing. It's energy flow, and one of them has chemical flow. So basically, where is our energy source? What is our energy source? It is the sun. That's where our energy originates. That's where the energy is put into the system. And the primary producers, or the autotrophs pick that sun up, harness it, and use it to create their food. Um, that is, they give their energy to the primary consumers, and so on. And as you can see, this one goes this way, this one comes down this way. It's the same exact thing. When they die, they give their energy to the decomposers that decompose it, and they put it back into the system. That would be the chemical cycling, where the primary producers put their energy back into the system. Um, these when you move up, there's the 10% rule. So 90% goes to heat energy. That includes metabolism, that includes all of the body parts, all the physical things that an organism needs to stay alive. And only 10% moves up to the next level. Now that 10% is just an average, so we say 10%, but it does change depending on the system and those type of things. So we will be going into this a little bit more, but this is basically, you need to know your energy flow systems very well. And also food webs and food chains, because these are basically, they're showing you a chain of where energy is flowing to. Thank you, and I will see you, I think, on Monday. Thanks. Bye-bye.